Hi everybody, and welcome to Faculty Promotion Training video number 4. This time we are going to specifically look at our external service file and our performance effectiveness agreements as well. Now you'll notice that in your promotion process that you are going to have those exact same categories that are within your performance effectiveness agreements, or the PPE process. Those categories are your external service, your teaching, your internal service, your professional development, and educational leadership. So you will be documenting those again as well within this process, and I'm going to show you how you can start to do that documentation. Okay, so for the first thing that we're going to look at today, you're going to want to access your external service folder. But you're also going to want to access your supporting materials as well for this particular file. But we're going to go ahead and start with opening up our external service for just a moment. You'll see again within the external service, you're going to have your first page with a page break. Make sure that page break stays there. And then on the next page, on page 2 of this, you're going to have your brief description of your external service or community service that you provide as a representative from Gateway. Here is mine, and you'll notice that it's just a few brief paragraphs, nothing long, nothing overly extended in content. Again, this will be highlighted because it is an area in which you need to make sure that you copy over and take off those highlights on your own. Again, to take off the highlights, what you would do is highlight a particular area. You come up here to the highlight text and do no color, and it disappears. But I'm going to put this back on here for just a moment, okay? You will notice again that now we're starting to do a formal documentation. So what this means is that you document all of your paperwork in chronological order, meaning the most recent to the oldest piece of information. So you'll see here that the first thing that you're going to have up is academic year 2020 and 2021 for next year's group. And you'll notice I have all of my external service. I am a member of Hope's Closet Board of Directors. I serve as an educational consultant. I also serve as a grant writer for them. And I also facilitate professional development workshops. I am also an educational consultant for the University of Cincinnati, specifically with a federal Department of Education grant known as Preparing Early Intervention Providers for the Opioid Epidemic. I also serve as an educational consultant for a nonprofit called Acting Up in Ohio that works with kids, and I organize their volunteer training program for them, and I also serve as a grant writer for them. Then you'll notice here, you see how this has academic year 2019-2020. What I would recommend is you come here and you do a page break. And the way you do a page break is you press the Control key and the Enter simultaneously, and it automatically takes you to a new page. So again, it's 2020, 2021, then you come down to 2019 and then 2020, and you'll see my information for this year's worth of work. And then you'll see here that I have academic year 2018, 2019. Again, it's all part of the same page. So I'm going to use that Control and Enter function, and I am going to put that onto another page. This makes everything much cleaner and easier for the committee to be able to review your folder, okay? Then I'm going to come down here, and you're going to see this thing called Academic Dean Supporting Letter. And I'm going to show that to you in just a moment, but you're going to copy and paste your information into it. And again, I'm going to do a full video on copy and paste for you as well using the snippet tool. Additionally, if you have any other supporting documentation for anything, you can also provide that here as well. I also have this exact same information provided to you. This is kind of the format in which I developed mine up top. So you can either copy mine directly and just use mine, or you can come down here and use this particular template that is standardized right here. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to press that pause button for just a moment, and I'm going to bring up for you the Academic Dean Supporting Letter. Okay, so I'm coming back to my original folder, and I see supporting materials, and I'm going to click into this. Within the supporting materials, you're going to find an Academic Dean Documentation Letter. So what we do is we open this document up, and looks like somebody has their information in it from last time. It's Eileen. And you'll see how she listed all of her information out within this document. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and I'm going to delete all of this out. And I will make sure that yours is clean for you. Don't worry for when you do this process. Let me delete all of this out. I didn't realize she had accidentally saved all of it into one location. Okay, so you'll see that there's going to need to be information that you'll need to change. First thing is we're probably going to have to change the date. So I'm going to do January, I'll just do 15th, 2021. And I'm going to come here, and this is 2020 through 2021. Please accept this letter as documentation for Carrie McKenna. And I'm doing mine, Carrie McKenna's external service from August 2019 to January 31st, 2021. And actually it shouldn't be 21 or January 31st. So May 30th, 2021. Again, I do not report to Susan Santos, so I would remove this information, and you would put your individual immediate supervisor's information here. So I'm going to put Doug down for me because he's my immediate supervisor, and then I'm just going to kind of leave it as is for right now. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click back over to my external service, and I'm basically going to copy and paste this information in. So I highlight it, I hit Control C to copy. I come back to this letter and I hit one space down and I copy it in. And there is my information for 2020, 2021. And you can do one of two things. You can do individual letters if you would like and have Doug sign it, or have your supervisor sign 3 individual letters for each of those 5 categories, which would mean a total of 15 letters that they would sign. Or you can do just 1 letter for each of the 5 categories, so 5 total letters. So it's either 15 or 5, depending on what your personal preference is. But say I have completed this particular one, Doug has signed it, and I'm going to show you what the next step would be. Okay, the next step would be to come here to File. Then we are going to do a Save As. And then we want to just basically download a copy. Again, it'll say our document is ready. It's going to pop up in that lower left-hand side of your screen. I'm going to double click on it. The letter will show up. I need to enable editing. And once my computer catches up with me, now I have the whole letter here on this template. Okay, I'm going to, at this point, I would want to make it a little bit smaller as a whole for the viewing for it, and just so it all fits onto the page a little bit more easily. So I might go like this. And again, we're going to pretend like Doug's signature is right here. And I'm going to use my snipping tool to capture this document. In order to capture it, I need to find the snipping tool. So I come here to the search menu, and what I need to do is type SN, and it automatically comes up, snipping tool. I click on snipping tool, and a second dialog is going to show up. I click new, and what I can do is take this and take a picture of it. And right there is a picture of my image. Now say I don't like this one. I don't think I did a good job since I have a little bit of the gray. I'm just going to come over here and I'm going to click new again, and it allows me to retake the image. So I'm going to come here, I'm going to retake it. I like the way this one looks, so I'm going to come up here, I'm going to hit edit, and then I'm going to click on copy. The next thing I need to do is come over to my original file, my community service. So I have my academic year 2020-21, and what I need to do is I need to document this information. So if I hit Control V, it pastes my image, that letter, for me. And here's my documentation, and if I click on this, I can make my letter larger. And here is my documentation for academic year 2020-2021. Now, if I wanted to, I can then, for 2019-2020, I would have my signed letter from Doug, and I would do it again. Again, we're pretending like this is academic year 2019-2020. And then for this final year, I would delete this out, and I'm going to put that in. And I have my last piece of information here. Okay? So that I would have, it would look like this. I'm going to have my open external service, my dialog. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to list my information. I'm going to then put my letter. List my information, put my letter, and list my information and put my letter. In addition to my dean's information, right here I also have another letter documenting and supporting my work with the University of Cincinnati. So what I'll do is I am going to click over into my email, and here is my email letter from them saying that I am working with this Department of Education grant with them from Aaron Brettel from the University of Cincinnati. So I'm going to click on my snipping tool. I'm going to click new. I'm going to come up, and I am just going to take a picture of the entire body of the email. I would click edit, copy, and then I would come over here, and here's my letter. But then I'm going to do another page break after my letter. And I will paste my other picture for documentation purposes. Now you'll see here in my picture that it's got the little red line for me video recording, so I'll have to take that out. But this is how you go about documenting your information. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and hit pause on this and bring up the PPE process. The PPE process looks basically the same as the external service. So you're going to click into your performance planning agreement. Again, you are going to fill out a brief little narrative for it, but please notice there's one thing I want you to pay attention to. If you have any notable deficiencies in your PPE, you need to provide a thorough narrative explaining that deficiency.